Hey, I'm Sam. I'm a front of house engineer, but I also provide production through my company Bridge Studio. I basically have built, over the last year, this control rack that has showed up on my Instagram a few times, and I regularly get questions about what's in it, what does it do, and how is it making things more effective. So I thought today I'd do a little quick rundown of what's in the control rack and how that's benefiting me. And also, if you've got any suggestions on things that I could do to make things better and more efficient, then feel free to drop them down in the comments. But yeah, let's quickly run through what's inside. So this is the control rack on the front section. So this is the section that the monitor engineer that I have will see, and essentially it has all of the RF that we're using. So this has just came out of a job where we were just doing in-ears on RF, and then we had another supplier bring in RF for mics because we had loads of it. So we predominantly stock IEMs. We don't really do RF mics at the moment. We've just got a small section of EWDX, but it's not in here. So there's 16 ways of stereo in-ears in this rack, and so yeah, we've got 2000 series with an RF venue antenna distribution. And then we also have some 300 series, which is still good stuff, still great. Yeah, and then these antenna distributions do the last two, the 2000 series, and then do the rest of these. So again, 8 channels of RF distribution there. And then I use these Varta rechargeables, which are actually really good. So we use these for the engineer packs and anyone else tech-wise. Currently I've only got one U of these, and we're still using normal batteries, just because I feel safe using normal batteries. But definitely look to switch to rechargeables, especially with the new stuff. When we upgrade all the wireless system, we'll probably switch over to all the rechargeables by Sennheiser. Further down the chain, we've got a lovely little brush plate here, which just allows us to run cables through neatly, keep things looking really smart. And then there is a GigAce DX hub here. So this DX hub is basically giving us 4 lines of DX boxes, which can do 32 channels in and 16 out per line. And that then runs, in a minute you'll see, into the GigAce card. And then in these drawers we just have a few bits and pieces. As you can see, it's all labelled up. So in here we've just got some cable and then an IP8 for the C1500. So we only stock C1500s just because they're easy to transport and fly, etc. So we've got that, and then the IP8s are just brilliant, just the next extension of faders for the C1500s. And work perfectly on monitors. These are the cables for the PCs that you'll see in a minute, power, etc. And then in here we've got 2 touchscreen monitors, which are just on Amazon, really cheap, and then 2 really cheap keyboards just to type in names of stuff when briefly used, and some mice. And then all of our packs are in here. So there's 2 layers. There's this layer and then one below of in-ear packs. So yeah, this is all the 2000 series, and so yeah, on the last job we had so much RF, so many in-ear mixes. Poor Harvey. And then this is the kind of like control side. So these are the PCs that we're using. They're just Lenovo Think something. If you need to know, then I can obviously link them to you. These are super cool because they're so cheap, and so I think they're like £90 each. So we basically run all of the Waves licenses for the server. This is like Wave SoundGrid on there, and then we've got control here, which is all the RF and anything else that gets plugged in. This can take it. So there's a network in the back of this, which I'll show you in a minute, which is able to be controlled all from this computer. So simple to get everything dialed in. And then in here we've got a shout monitor, a couple of extra packs for engineer techs. And then as we go down, we've got our Waves Extreme server. This thing's an absolute beast, handles a lot, and we put it through its paces. And then in here we've got, slightly messy after we've tweaked a few things, but we've got a CDM32, a DM0, and then down there you can just about see beyond this panel is a DX32. Obviously you can see the cards. So we've got Dante 128 cards. This is the split. We're doing a split over Dante because this only has one card slot, and we're using waves in the surface, so that does the split. Then we have a waves card for monitors as well, and then a Gig Ace card which is doing the DX hub. So this really bumps up our I/O on this system. It means that we can essentially take 128 channels over DX boxes, plus then we have the DX hub on the DX port, which gives us 32 outputs because we got all output cards in there. So all of the channels on the IEMs are done through the DX hub. So we're like completely cool with outs basically. And then we've got another DX3 and 4, which does one of our DX boxes as well, so then it gives us another 32 on top of that 128. So there's crazy amounts of I/O and flexibility, so it means we can just drop stuff in. So, and then in terms of patching, we just have these custom panels that we make, really simple. Just patch your network lines into what's labelled, really straightforward. So it means that when we're setting up, it literally takes us like, 5 minutes and all of this is done, less than 5 minutes. And then it's just patching in the band. So in all, it kind of means that everything, including the back line, we just did 80 channels on the weekend, and everything's done in like 15 minutes and ready to go. So as we get around the back, on the rear we've got a network switch. This is all of the network RF, etc. So this is all of the control PC that you saw in the front. This is everything that goes into it, and there is another switch on this side with some more RF. So, and then around the rack you'll see we've got scattered network ports, so that you can drop stuff in essentially. It's a network switch for network control, and then nice little clean brush plate again to keep it looking smart. Dante switch, so we've got a Cisco Dante switch. These things I've used for years, super reliable. They just don't slip up, and hope they continue to not slip up. So yeah, at the moment we've just got the one flashing for the control, and then and then further down, blanking plate to hide some of all the PC stuff behind there. Then we've got the I/O, just the inputs actually for the CDM. So the CDM, usually when we have mic RF in this rack, we'll patch it in obviously within this. So the last 17 to 32 is always RF, and we don't patch into that. The whole thing with this is really like there should be no cables looking like rogue, and it should all just be patched into the panels that are on the rack. So 16 channels here, so usually we just put VTs and anything else that needs to just be dropped in last minute, which is patched over Dante or ready to go. So it's really simple for Mons engineer to just grab these channels or whatnot, so it's pretty straightforward. And then obviously we've got our 3 units, the CDM, the DM0 and the DX32. The reason why we keep buying these smaller units is just because they're easy to fly, so a lot of our packages are fly and touring. Then here we've got the rear to all of the RF, so just a real messy RF bay. And then here we've got our main patch bay. This thing is a lifesaver because it just makes it so easy to get everything patched in. So we've got our network ports. This gets anything that's additional on the network, so amps, any additional RF that we have. Dante feeds, 2 Dante feeds here, so anyone can just patch in, as well as there being 2 on the other side. The Gig Ace ports, so these are the DX boxes, so every DX box is labelled on a gig, and you just literally run the cable and plug it into the ports. And then RF antenna, so it's just literally dropping them in as they're labelled, essentially. Power, a few bits of power. I could probably do this a little bit neater, but it works and it doesn't look awful. So that's what's in there. If you think there's anything that I can do better in here to make it more efficient, then obviously send through your thoughts. But yeah, that's the control rack for you. Hope you enjoyed.